We're hot.
Every day we hear so many depressing stories in the news. We hear about political parties who can't agree, who are always calling each other names, insulting each other, when out here in the community, we're wishing that everybody could just have some consensus about the things that are most important to us as Americans. We hear about struggles, different groups fighting in the streets. We hear about the blue suits, and we hear about communities of color that are struggling over issues. People are angry. Why are people so angry? A lot of that anger comes from this sense of injustice and the fact that life isn't fair. Why is it that people go to work every day, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're not making enough money to make ends meet, let alone have the American dream? These are the top issues that are the priority of our presidential campaign today. And it's on the minds of Americans, and not just Americans and in this country, but people all over the world are frustrated. You know, why did we have Brexit? It has to do with money. The UK wants to pull out of the European Union because they don't like the way the economy is going. People are struggling all over the world. They're working hard, but they're not able to have the life that they want for themselves or provide for their children in a way that they were always told that they could do if they went to school, play by the rules, got a job, keep your head down, and yet you're still struggling at the end of the day. In Delaware, we have come up with a plan on how to address that, and we've just gone through the worst recession in modern history in the state, where not only are we witnessing plant closings and contraction in business, but we're seeing even in government, there's never enough money. We see at the end of the year, as the legislature has to finalize their budget, they're struggling what they're going to cut, how they're going to do it. Now they do have to balance a budget, unlike the rest of us, where we can always overflow on our budget and end up using credit cards to pay for the balance. Well, in Delaware, we have come up with a plan on how to help individuals. We are working with Head Start teachers. The Head Start teacher who is eating lunch every day with the little children that she takes care of. And the reason why she's doing that is because she doesn't have enough money to stop at the supermarket and buy the food that she needs and put food on the table at home. We hear about the security guard who's just gone through a gut-wrenching divorce, who's lost his home, his family, whose paycheck is attached, and life is hopeless for him. Where does he begin? How does he begin to rebuild? He's angry. He's frustrated. He gets up every day and goes to work, and things are still falling apart. We're working with a retiree who spent her entire life working hard, and yet she was never able to buy a home of her own. And now she's retired, and she's faced with a disability, and we're working with that retiree to see if she can achieve that dream of home ownership. And the way that we're doing this, working with individuals who are all aspiring to have that American dream, they're doing everything right. We're working with them one-on-one through personal financial coaching. We're not using tweets or texts or emails or Facebook posts. In a world where we have come to depend on technology for communication, we've lost the art of a listening ear, a caring person sitting across the table who's listening, who's helping you to think it through. What is it that you want to do? How are you going to do it? What is your dream? What is the information that you need to achieve that dream? What are the steps that you're going to take? And then little by little, how do we start to approach it? How do we start to see that credit score climb from 500 to 600 to 700? How do we start to pay down that debt from thousands of dollars to hundreds of dollars? How do we begin to establish those savings so that there's an emergency pool that when we need it, when the car breaks down, or when we're not feeling so well and we need to go to the doctor and need to have a supplemental payment for that? How do everyday Americans achieve these goals? And the way that we're doing that in Delaware is by providing people with that personal support through a program called, very fittingly, Stand By Me. That's because our job with this program is to stand by our fellow man and our fellow woman, our neighbors, our friends, and help them as they're struggling with those challenges that they're going through every day in life. And those are the real news stories that are most important, helping people one at a time to achieve their goals that they've had all of their life, for themselves and for their children. And for me, this is the culmination of a life's work. All of my life I have been focused on helping others. It's a natural thing for me. It's not something my parents told me I should do, but it was just maybe they did tell me that, but it was just something that I always felt inside. And I always had that empathy for the underdog, for the person who was struggling, and looking at issues. Why is that happening? What is it that we can do, that I can do personally, and that we can do as a society to address those issues? I came of age in the 60s. It was during the time of great upheaval, and there were protests and demonstrations on all kinds of issues, on peace, on civil rights, on justice, economic and financial justice. And we're still having those struggles today. And in my career, I decided I was going to pursue that. I never gave up. I will say, not in judgment, but a lot of people I know who are my age, who are in their 60s, they went in different paths. You know, we were all coming up, the Woodstock generation, and you know, the idealism of our time. But you have to make a living. How are you going to make a living? Well, one thing I decided early on was that for me, it was more important to be able to help other people and work in the nonprofit sector, work in the community, and figure out how do we solve some of these problems than getting rich and having the big mansion with the pool, although it would have been nice. And so over the years, I started out community organizer, knocking on doors, organizing neighborhoods in Philadelphia, and then I came to Delaware and worked in microfinance, helping small businesses to get started, and organizing groups where they could help each other to support each other with loans and with business advice and marketing. And then I met a visionary who was the state treasurer at the time. And we started a program where we helped people to get their taxes done and to get all the money back from the tax code that they could get. And we focused on low-wage workers. So as they filed their taxes, they could get the earned income tax credit, the child tax credit, and get a real windfall at tax time. And the question was, so how are we going to make that money really work for you? But what we both realized was that tax time is just a moment in time. The question is, how do we make that money work for you all of the time? And that's what we're doing with Stand By Me. We are working with organizations where our target market, low-wage workers, new immigrants, people who are in retirement, Head Start parents, parents who have children in high school who want to send those kids to college. Where are they? Where are all of those individuals? How do we find them? We know that they can benefit from this, and we know that when we start talking to them, their issues are going to unfold like a flower, especially when they're sitting across the table from a financial coach who's there to help them to achieve their dreams. How can we help them to unpack those dreams and to put together that plan to achieve them? We do it by forming partnerships, and we have done this across the state of Delaware in the most amazing way, because by partnering with community colleges, we're able to work on campus at every single community college in Delaware and help community college students to stay in school and to be able to pay for life and school at the same time. So it's not just benefiting those community college students who we want to support to help them to achieve their dream, but it benefits the community college because they are being evaluated and judged by the retention rates and the graduation rates that are very, very important to their performance. We work with the employers, we work with the hospitals, with the state agencies, with the child care centers, all of whom are bringing personal financial coaching and financial wellness programs to their employees. It's not just about eating the right food to stay fit, but it's also about making the right financial decisions so that people have happier lives at home, they're able to achieve goals that they want in life, and then when they come to work, they're able to concentrate and focus on the job and not be distracted by creditors who are calling them or by waking up in the middle of the night and being exhausted during the day. They don't have to worry about paying utility bills or rent bills or mortgage bills or sending kids to college. So employers recognize this isn't just good for their employees, it's good for them, because their bottom line improves when their employees are doing better on a personal level. We work with partners, different state agencies. We work with the Department of Housing. Their mission is to promote affordable housing and home ownership in the state of Delaware. But how are they going to do that? They're a state agency, but yet they are evaluated and judged on their ability to promote the whole concept of home ownership and to get more Delawareans into home ownership. And what we do is we partner with them and we build a pipeline to home ownership called Kiss Your Landlord Goodbye by helping people who have a 500 credit score to improve that credit score and get it up to 700, to pay down debt so that they have the right debt to income ratio, establish savings so that they can show a mortgage lender that they do have money in the bank and they are a good prospect for a mortgage. And people are so excited about this. So it's not just the people that we're helping who are flocking to the program because home ownership is the American dream, but it's also the state agency that is interested in seeing this advance. And we're also working with the realtors. When realtors get people who come to them, I want to buy a house, and then the realtor pulls the credit score isn't where it should be. What are they supposed to do? So we're helping realtors, we're helping state agencies, and most importantly, we're helping those individuals to achieve that American dream. So in Delaware, what we've done is we've built a